All right, my favorite people, back at it again with another topic for you. Actually just got done with some boxing and have been practicing my 1-2, which my right hand is my power hand. So 1 is the jab, 2 is the cross. So been practicing 1-2, pull back 2, and then 1-2-3. 3 is your hook to the head, and then 1-2-3 to the body, and the 3 is to the body. So that's why I've been practicing and looking to perfect that, and going to start some sparring. So wish me luck. Either way, I'll be good, but don't want to go too far off track. Today's topic is on the things to consider before you quit your job to focus full time on real estate, and why this is important. I actually recently got a text from someone that said, "Thank you so much, Sterling. I just quit my job to focus full time on real estate." And I said, "No, that's not what I told you to do." Somehow, of course, just through all the content and sharing my personal story, that's the path that worked for me. But that doesn't work for everyone. And I don't want to, of course, wish that up on someone to make that shift, because everyone has different circumstances. But you'll want to stay until the very end, of which I'll go into the things to consider before you make that leap, or if you're considering making that leap. And my first thing that you want to consider is that, and this is one of the most important, is that it oftentimes, many of the time, actually takes time. It's not one of those things that happens overnight. And I'm referring to actually getting income and money. And in my case is, yes, when I first started out, I was able to do some deals as a way to cover my overhead. But with that is, I didn't have a large overhead with that. And it wasn't until the third year was actually able to get the business to a point to where it could actually start to take salary from it. Because a lot of what we were doing, instead of taking sums of money, both my partner and I, from the business to support our lifestyles, is we just took owner draws every now and then. And a lot of people, as far as the employees that we had, were actually making more than we were, and we were the actual owners of the company. So that's what I mean, is just knowing that it takes time. And yes, there's people that instantly make the shift, or they start to get traction very quickly. But I found is that many of those people are, you can say, anomalies, and who knows how much work, or they could just be very talented. There's some luck that also comes involved too, which luck, of course, is just when preparedness meets opportunity. So those are some things you just want to have in mind. Now, I know we're in a social media age, and I've mentioned this multiple times, that you see people's highlights and that it took them 60, 90 days or so to be able to get that first deal, and many more deals after that. But you don't see a lot of the sacrifice that led up to that point, and they could just be someone who's just really good at just finding deals and making things happen. So that's the first thing. Patience. It takes more time to earn money. And the next I want to go into are the risk, especially for someone that has obligations that they have, such as a mortgage payment, a family, for guys on here and women too, but more so guys that have kids, and then you've got kids that you may not be aware of out there too that are floating around. Just joking there. But all of these different things, and once you now make the shift, is that now you've decided to burn the bridges, but let's say it takes a little bit longer for you to get deals in, and now you don't have the income to support those obligations. Then that's when you can start to get yourself in trouble and decide to try and make shortcuts, which could end up costing you in the future, because you're doing shortcuts now that could be bad on your reputation. You may go try and get over on someone, keep renegotiating to get a better deal. That way you get more profits, and then in the future people want to work with you because you're known as someone who renegotiates. And I'll just share my story, is that when I decided to make the shift and be full-time, this is about 2013. So 2009 I was in construction, but that was still part-time because I was in college at that time. And then at a later point, that's when I was full-time, but I didn't have a large overhead. I was actually living in my friend's den. We had an Amazon business that we had going on. So with that, I was able to pay essentially my half of the rent through that. And I remember waking up every morning that his dogs would, one of his dogs, he had two terriers that would always bark, and one of them did not like me. It would always just poop right outside my right next to my bed. But that's another story in itself. But I didn't have these large expenses that I had to essentially handle on a monthly basis, so that allowed me to take the shift. And I was a young college kid, so I really didn't have as much to lose with that. So those are some things to consider. And what I've also learned from others who decided to make the shift full time is they decided to, and this is other investors that said, okay, this is, if you do decide to make the shift, this is something I would recommend you doing, is getting anywhere between about 6 to 12 months of money parked aside to take care of your six months of expenses, or even as long as 12 months in the event that you're not able to get some income that comes in. And that's a way to really protect your downside, because this goes back to my first point, is that it takes time. And the last but not least is that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. This is one of the things that I have learned, is that some people just want to go to their 9-to-5s, and when they're finished with work, not even have to worry about anything. Or because as an entrepreneur, and this is just a personal experience here, that your wheels are constantly spinning. As an example is that when I'm out in, let's say, Santo Domingo or Medellin, Colombia, is I'm still thinking about work, and I actually still work when I'm out there, but it's just a habit that I've formed. But always thinking of how can I improve myself as one, but how can I further improve on the business? And then sometimes things start to break within your organization or within your business, and that actually flows up to you even when you're out. And when you're on the 9-to-5, is that usually is, once if something breaks, is the following day, that's when you'll be able to address that. Or let's say you're just Monday through Friday, is Friday you're completely checked out, you've got Saturday and Sunday to relax, and then on Monday, that's when you're able to address whatever problem does come up. And of course, this is a case by case, but many of the times people who work 9-to-5s, that's how they operate on that side, because entrepreneurship's not glamorous, and you may decide that, and this would be the unfortunate situation, is that you've researched, you decide that you want to get into smaller multifamily, and you decide, okay, this is, you've done the research, you know your market, you know the neighborhood, you've got some money saved up as a down payment, or let's say you've got some investors, and now you put in your 2 weeks notice, you quit, you get now are full time into the industry, and you start doing deals, and you say, I actually really don't enjoy this. So that is also something else that could come up, and I don't hear many people talk about that. So that's all I have. The things to consider for those of you who wish to quit your job to be full-time in real estate, and just know that the main thing I really would want you to get a takeaway from this is, it is patience. And if you're on social media, I'm not on social media, is that when you're seeing all the highlights of people, I know that individuals see that and they get that thought process that, oh, it's going to take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. That person was able to get $100,000, or let's say $40,000 on their first wholesale deal. All right, well, I'm going to quit and I'm going to decide to do that myself. But you don't see all the sacrifice that led up to that point, that they could have been at a full-time job doing this part-time for, let's say, a year or so, and then they decided to make the shift full-time, and then that's when they were able to get that first or second or third deal. But you don't see all that, you just see the highlight of the deal. So I appreciate everyone so much who's on these, and that one, I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes to this day, and I want to share those mistakes with you in hopes that it does inspire you, and then also avoid the potholes and pitfalls that most people do make, because I'm constantly learning from others' mistakes that they have as a way to avoid that, and I want to share those with you as well. So those of you on the YouTube, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. And then those of you who are listening via the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, maybe on World Star Hip Hop, just kidding, not on World Star Hip Hop, leave that rating. It would really mean the world. And then also, if you want just further insights of where you currently are and where you wanting to go to bridge the gap as far as in your real estate business, or figure out ways to further get off market deals, there's a link below to schedule a strategy session. So where you'll speak with myself or someone on the team. So I appreciate you. Keep being awesome. Thank you.